Hello everyone, I'm Tally, this is Farrell, and we are Bored of It, and welcome to the much requested, the anticipation, Bored of It's top 10 games of all time.
Yeah, so people have asked for this an amount, and we kind of didn't want to do it because where else do you go after that? But we've been convinced now, and also we're basically just doing this because this is coming out on our 3-year anniversary of Bored of It. So yeah, we're going to share our top 10 games of all time individually, and we haven't told the other what that list is. So it will be a reveal party for us as well. And before we get into it, we're going to have some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
And before that, we would just like to say that if you enjoyed this video or any of our content, please consider subscribing because it's the only thing we ask for. We don't have a Patreon or anything like that. We do this basically non-profit because we buy the equipment ourselves, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So it would really mean a lot to us. And we also have recently launched a podcast, which is a bit of an experiment. So please go check that out. And in the podcast, we'll tell you where you can also email us if you want to send in conversations and opinions.
Love that. Yeah.
Exactly. So please also check out the podcast. But shall we go to the honourable mentions? Go on then.
Okay.
Ladies first.
Yeah, so I didn't really know how many honourable mentions were appropriate, but I have 4.
I think I had 3, but I kind of want to have 4. So
Okay. My honourable mentions, the first one is Dead Reckoning. Yeah. Oh, a little surprised face.
Yeah.
Are you surprised that it's an honourable mention or
Yeah,
surprised that
I
it's
didn't
not
know if it'd be that high.
Okay, yeah, no,
Like, it must be top 14 then, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to put it in the top 10, but there's just so many games and it just didn't quite make the cut. I think maybe if we would have played it more recently, maybe it would have been more fresh in my mind and it would have gone in. Another one is Coffee Traders.
Wow, that is the surprise.
Why?
I mean, I don't think that's in anyone's top 13
I
besides
know,
you.
yeah, but I really love that game.
Yeah.
It's a controversial opinion,
Yeah.
apparently,
Yeah.
but I really wanted to put that in the top 10. I don't know if it was just public opinion stopping me in a way. There was something stopping me from putting it in there, even though I absolutely love it. I love the production, I love the game. I'm really bad at it because I'm bad at all Euros. But there was just something stopping me from putting it in there, but it's an honourable mention. And then my third one is My Father's Work. I think that is something really unique and does deserve to be up there. But again, there's just other games that we probably played more, hold a more special place in my heart. But I think it really deserves an honourable mention because, yeah, it's just very unique, well done, and we always have a great time playing it. And then my 4th honourable mention is an honourable mention because it's an RPG and not really a board game, so I think it doesn't deserve to go in the top 10 board games, but it is Brindlewood Bay. I gave it another honourable mention in another video we did.
No, I think you had it as your number 10 game
yeah,
of the year.
I did, didn't I? Yeah, number 10 of 2022. Just the laughs we've had playing this deserves to be given a shout out. Really fantastic. You're all kind of little old ladies trying to solve crimes, and yeah, check it out. It's just really fun.
And what's your old lady name?
I'm Doris Van Winkle.
Yeah, I thought you were Van Winkle.
Super fabulous. So I like to kind of put a big pair of sunglasses on and a big hat, kind of faux fur shawl around me as well. I'm like really get into that character of Doris Van
Carry a
Winkle.
hip flask full of gin.
Yeah, shout out to our compatriots, Dusty Carpe.
Dusty Carpe.
And Mavis Mavison as well.
Mavis Mavison, yeah.
Little old lady character. Who are you? Oh, you're the storyteller, so you don't have it.
Yeah, I run it.
Yeah.
And I can also say that for the first time having to run the RPG as the person like behind the table, it's a really easy learning experience. So I also recommend it for newcomers, particularly to RPGs.
Yeah.
So I'm interested. I think My Father's Work is maybe the Dead Reckoning. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they might be around the top 20. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But with me, Father's Work for me, it's just like if the app wasn't if it was more modern and the like text wasn't so convoluted and sometimes you really don't understand what anything means. If it wasn't for that, it would be much higher for me, I think. So my honourable mentions are Viticulture.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Use fries.
No comment.
Yeah. Viticulture is one of our favourite games and one of
Exactly.
our... Yeah, but in terms of like gameplay.
Yeah.
So I think that just missed out just because it's a great game, but I guess it is maybe some more simplistic worker placement. I do love the theme, and yeah, it just missed out. Another one for me is On Mars. I think this is a terrific Vital Lacerda game, and I do enjoy it so much. I think despite the complexity, the way it works and the theme and all the things you can do, it just is a really wonderful heavy Euro, and that just missed out. And then I don't know if this ever would have been in there, but I definitely thought of it when I was making the shortlist, and that is Parks. I just think it's one of the most perfect threaded needle between simplicity of explanation that you can play with family to kind of mental complexity and thought that any gamer of any level can enjoy.
Yeah.
I just really love that it threads that kind of eye of the needle, and all the expansions as well make it better and better. So I think that's just a game I really enjoy playing, and the artwork and the production definitely do not hurt it. Then the final one would be, and this is probably more of us playing it yesterday, but Return to the Dark Tower. Return to Dark Tower, I always say to the.
Yeah.
Which we have up here behind the cards. And I never thought I'd like a card that much, but it's just really terrific. I love the simplicity of the actions, but the freedom of the turn you can have in doing your actions in any order. And I love that it gives you lots of stuff to do and you can't do it all. So it's about kind of risk analysis and weighing up what you can do and communicating. And you can't really quarterback because the tower's blocking your view of other players.
That's true, actually.
So, yeah. So,
good ones.
Without further ado, I guess let's go to the top 10. You want to start?
Yes.
Top 10 board of it games of all time.
Da-da-da. Okay, my number 10 is Undaunted. And I kind of don't want to specify which one. Is that allowed?
Yeah, so you're going for the system.
Yeah, if I had to pick...
The system.
If I had to pick...
But you haven't played Battle of Britain yet, so how can you pick?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, out of the ones that we've played,
though.
Okay, I know which one I prefer the least. North Africa.
What?
What?
North Africa is way better than Normandy.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
the asymmetry is way better.
I don't like the vehicle play.
Oh yeah, you hate the vehicles,
really,
but
yeah, it's just not vibing with me. But yeah,
I like the mission
Stalingrad
structure
and Normandy. Yeah, just always kind of stressful to play, but it's fun stress. Was just, I don't know. I never thought I would like a kind of war game like that, but the mechanics just really shine through there. Like it's simple in the way that you play, like turn to turn, but the strategy that is available to you, I think it's really genius actually. And
it is a
I
genius
always
system.
Feel like I'm really at the helm of a true battle because you can really think about the scenarios in your head. Should I run out there and go on the attack? Should I play it more defensive or whatever, right? And I just think that's genius with some tokens, some tiles and cards, what it actually does. So yeah, that's my number 10.
Yeah, just as stepping back with Undaunted, it's a really, if you don't know what it is, it's a really terrific deck building kind of World War II system. So each one takes place, it's like North Africa is a bunch of battles in North Africa, and Normandy, a bunch of battles in Normandy. And you play two different sides in the war, and your soldiers are represented by a deck of cards. So each card is a soldier. And when they take a hit, you yeet them out of the game. So your deck gets thinner and you have less soldiers to do things, and they all kind of have unique abilities, and you have a map. And it's just really simple, light to understand, but very, very tactical and tense. But yeah, it's really Undaunted, a terrific system. So my number 10 is Codenames, which is probably our most played game of all time, or maybe second most. We'll see. Depends if you count before records or after records. And Codenames is just one that I think I had to put on the list because despite the fact that I've played it like probably 100 times, it's something that I would still continue to play. We nearly got it out at Mum's house last week, and I was like excited to play it, right?
Yeah.
And Codenames is a game that also I think has a lot of nostalgia because I ordered it because I heard it was a good family game a couple of years ago, and my family were coming over to visit us here, and all we did like all weekend is just play Codenames. Everyone was so addicted, and we all loved it. And we must have played 20 to 30 games that weekend alone.
Yeah,
easily. And, you know, they've gone out and bought it. Other people who've played it with us have gone and bought it. It's one of those games where when you play it with people who maybe aren't board gamers, a good percentage of them say, I want to go and buy this.
Yep.
Played with my family in Ireland, and they went out and bought it.
Nice.
And so just a lot of good memories. And it's just, I think the system's a lot of fun. It's fun to be the guesser, but everyone also wants to be the clue giver. So you get nice rotation in all the roles. So that means you play a few games of it and people can get into it and have the time if they're new. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure almost everyone's aware of Codenames, little word game where you teams. And also, I think it's nice to have games that are team games, and there's not so many of them.
No, that's true. I think every time that you say when we play it with new people, people go, oh, this is really fun. Because I guess when you describe it, it's a game about words. It doesn't doesn't jump off the page, right? But everyone's always very enthusiastic about it. Like you said, it is always cool when they say, yeah, I went out and bought it after playing it with you guys. So that's something that we enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah? Should we move on?
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 9 is Cape of Europe.
I'm not surprised to see it on the list.
Yeah, this is the one I think I'm most unsure about its position because I, in a way, feel like it deserves to be higher because of how much I love it. But maybe I think it just goes down a little bit because I don't even want to say like complexity, but it's just a game that it's incredible. It's incredibly well done. The production, the gameplay, everything. But it's a 2-player head-to-head game that just, you know, kind of takes 20 to 25 minutes. So maybe just because there isn't like more, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I get that.
But the fun that we've had with it and the amount of times we've played, it probably deserves to be a little bit higher. So it's a 2-player head-to-head, like I said, and you are a gang of thieves doing like japes and capers and going around trying to steal treasure from various landmarks across Europe. That's also another reason why I love it. It's kind of set in like Paris, Barcelona, London. And I really like games that are based on real cities and places. A bit of a geography nerd, even though it's not really to do with it at all. But the landmarks are all in there and the cards. And you are playing cards on either side and you'll put different thieves into play who have certain powers, different gear, which can get you some points or take points away from your opponent or whatever. And you're kind of trying to do a tug of war in 3 different locations or landmarks where some of the cards will like pull a token basically more towards your side, or you know your partner, your opponent will do that, and whoever ends up with these tokens on their side in the game will get some points. But there's other ways to score, and it's just fantastic game. We played it about 25 times in the first couple of months where we got it. It's nice to take on holiday because it's just kind of some cards and some tokens, very easy. So yeah, fully recommend.
So my number 9 is Cascadia. And so many of the things I was saying about Parks, where it's very simple in terms of the rule set, but complex in terms of the brain space it occupies and thinking you have to do. Cascadia is on this list because I think it encapsulates that better than any game I've ever played. It's also a very comforting game. It's a game where your turn is so simple. All you do is you take a combination of tile and animal token. Then you put them in your habitat, and you can put both kind of anywhere you want, although animals can only go on tiles that show that animal is there. And what you're trying to do is connect the terrains on these tiles together to get points, but also kind of create patterns with the animal tokens to get points. And they'll all score different ways, and there's lots of ones you can mix in and out. So the scoring's a little different every time and the combinations together. But I just really, really love the vibe. I love the puzzle complexity mixed with the very, very simple rule set. You can teach it to anyone.
Yeah.
And
it's cozy vibes.
It's just, I can't explain it, but it's just one of my favourite games, obviously, of all time.
Yeah, I think you described it before as near perfect game, right? In terms of it does what it does.
Yeah.
There's not so much there, but what it does like excellently well, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So moving on to number 8. My number 8 is Orleans. So this is a Euro game that has bag building, and essentially you can do a lot of actions which will move you along various tracks. But you do those actions by pulling different workers out of your bag, and each action requires a specific combination of workers. So maybe to move the boat along the river, it's a farmer, a knight, and a clergyman. I can't remember their exact names.
Clergyman.
But you can only pull out
the clergyman track.
Priest?
Monk.
No, there's the other one. There's another one.
Scholar.
Maybe. Anyway.
There's no clergyman.
No, there's one I'm thinking of, and he looks like a religious man for sure. Anyway, you can only pull out a certain number of workers every round, so you have to kind of hope that you get the combinations to do the actions that you want to do in that round, and if not, you just got to optimize and go for the actions that you can do. I mean, all of the actions are very interesting as well, so I think that ups the enjoyment. It might not be what you wanted to do that round, but you can still do something. You can place a worker there for next round if you can't quite complete the combination. But yeah, I just find the bag building element as one of my favourite mechanics in board games.
Sure, we'll see it later on your list.
Really, no comment. It's really novel to me in a way, and I think if you didn't know much about board games and you weren't in this world and you would show someone that, I think they would think that was really cool and novel. At least I did when I first got shown it. So yeah, number 8.
Yeah, Orleans, it's not near my top 10, but I think it's one of the most brilliant Euros, especially classic Euros. I really enjoy the mechanisms. I just think for me, I find it more of a treat. It's not something I'd want to play a lot, but when I get it out, I have the best time.
Yeah.
I really love the mechanisms. So my number 8 is first crossover, Cape Europe. And it's just such a brilliant tug-of-war two-player game. Obviously, we have a soft spot for two-player games, considering we play a lot just us two. And Cape Europe is just, it's quick, it's tense, it's funny.
Yeah.
The artwork and the components are impeccable. I love everything about it.
Yeah.
And I just love that tug-of-war. And it just really nails the right vibe, I think.
I've got a really strong urge to play it now.
It's been a while. We should
do it. So.
But yeah, I won't say too much more because we've already covered it.
Yep.
That was my number 8.
Okay, my number 7, maybe following on the theme from my number 8, is Quacks of Quedlinburg. So this is another bag building game. I've put it a little bit higher than Orleans, maybe because I think it was the first time that I saw this mechanics. Maybe it just holds a more special place in my heart because of that. And maybe it's a little bit more fun. And I don't mean when you're actually playing it, but maybe the theme is a bit more poppin'.
Yeah. Well, Orleans is the most beige of Euros.
Yeah. Orleans, like, gather hay, make some cloth.
Oh no,
Dry
it's
Euros.
the plague.
Yeah, that kind of vibe, which I still love it. But Quacks is essentially about being a quack doctor in ye olde Germany, Quedlinburg. And you are trying to make a potion, or I guess it's a medicine. Because you're a quack, right?
Yeah.
Trying to make a tincture, maybe.
Yeah.
I love that word. Out of different ingredients. And you have a big cauldron, and the idea is to pull out your ingredients and then you place them on your personal cauldron, which is set in a spiral, and you move. Each chip has a value on it, like 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you pull out a chip that has a 3 on it, you move like 3 places along. Because the idea is to get as far out in the spiral on your cauldron as possible because then you get more points and then you get more money to spend on more new and exciting ingredients or chips to put in your bag for the next round. But the jeopardy is that one of the ingredients, the cherry bomb, if you have a value of more than 7 typically, then your whole pot explodes and you kind of get a bit punished for that. You don't get as many points and you can't buy new chips. So I just think it's super fun, always a good laugh to play that. We've played that with 5 people. I think we immediately got the expansion when we first played it because we had like a dinner party with 5 people and we just wanted to play the 5 right away. And just pulling the chips out and watching other people and hoping that their pot explodes. It's just, I mean, what's not to love?
Yeah, this is probably the first one on your list that would be nowhere near my top 10.
Yeah, that's because you're not as good at it as me.
Nah, I think this is what we've been talking, me and Sally have been talking a lot about luck recently and how she has none of it in board games. I think what it is all your luck goes to Quacks or Quedlinburg and you have none left over for any other game.
That's maybe true. I don't know. I don't push my luck like you do. You're more of a gambler and that's why I'm maybe better at Quacks because I don't gamble so much.
I think Quacks is a really fun game. It just wouldn't be, around my...
No, I think we talked about it in one of our other list videos about I go more on gut feeling than you. Yeah.
My number 7 is another crossover, the Undaunted system. And I mean, we already talked about it, but it's tight, it's clean, it's streamlined, have such a great time playing. And I think my favorite of the series is Stalingrad, which is the campaign legacy style game, but it's also resettable, which is great.
Yeah. Oh, we should play it again.
So one of my favorite memories was we'd had it on the table. We didn't play anything else for about a week. And we'd played a couple of games, I think Saturday night, and it all got a bit tense and a bit argumentative and a bit frustrated. And we're like, okay, it's time to put this away now because
getting close to table flipping territory.
We're having goes at each other now. We're going to have a break from it. So we put it away. Then we woke up the next morning and it was back set up by 10 a.m. and we were playing it, and that was not a joke.
A 12-hour break.
Yeah, and then we played 3 more games that day and had a great time. So I love the system. It's endlessly addictive. I love that they have all these different boxes, games in the series that are all great and do different things and experiment. Undaunted, number 7.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 6 is a bit of a curveball maybe. Don't really know how to describe it, but it is Articulate.
That's not a curveball, that's an atomic bomb. It's not. I don't believe that's acceptable for this list.
It's my top 10. I can do what I like. It was on the list of games to select from.
Is your number 5 Uno?
Oh, maybe it is actually. What's wrong with Uno?
Nothing. It's just not in my top 10 games of all time.
I had to put it on there when I saw it. I have to say, if I was asked to recall my top 10, I probably wouldn't have put it on there. But it's because we looked at the list of games that we've got, how often we play them, and I spotted it on there, and I was like, do you know what? For me, out of pure nostalgia, it had to go on the list for me because it was...
They'll riot in the comments.
Probably. I don't care. Riot all you like. I've played this game since I was about 10 years old. The longevity, the fun it's given me over the years, the simplicity. Yeah, it's not going to set the world alight, but it's just a fun drinking game. And for me, it deserves to be there out of pure nostalgia and the value it's given me over the years.
Should say it's not an actual drinking game. If you don't know what Articulate is, it's one of those old-timey board games every family has.
Yeah.
And this might be more of a UK thing. It might be the UK version, but it is basically the game where you have words on a card and you have to get your team to say the word without saying the word. Yeah. So you have to describe the word and you have a minute or 45 seconds to get through as many cards as possible.
Yeah, but they're all in different categories. So you might be on geography category, object, random, and then the whole round is about that category. So it's not completely...
I mean, I enjoy playing Articulate, but it makes me laugh that this is number 6 considering you've never even played with the rules. Yeah, you just use the cards.
The actual rules are stupid. We have house rules for it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that
And
actual rules are awful.
Everyone I know, I play this with my friends as well. I think that gets points for me. I play it with my family, friends, have nights playing Articulate, and everyone plays basically by the same rules, at least everyone that I know. And
But no rules, they just read the cards.
Well, whatever. It's a basic set that you can do what you like with. But yeah, I'm not even ashamed. And yeah, you might say it's not a real board game, but it has a board and it's a game. And
yeah, I'm just embarrassed for you.
Well, I might not have ever got into board games if I didn't play Articulate when I was 10. So you should pay homage to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not going to put Uno on my top 10 games all the time.
That's not a board game.
Neither was your honourable mention, Brindlewood Bay.
So that's why it was an honourable mention.
Okay, so back to actual board games.
How very daily.
My number 6 is Great Western Trail. Ooh. And I can't pick between them, so whichever is your favourite, that's the one I'm picking. Probably leaning towards Argentina, because I saw it described as Great Western Trail for people who like Great Western Trail. Or also something like Great Western Trail with 124% more Great Western Trail.
Yeah.
So
that's a good one.
I love Great Western Trail, let's say the system. It's brilliant Eurogame by Alexander Pfister. And there are several things I really like. One is that I think the theme is quite funny. I really love the deck building. I really love the different ways that you can go about winning. You could say 3 main paths. There's the building of houses. There's the card drafting where you build up your deck by buying better cows. And the railway where you're going really far on the railway and you're upgrading stations and getting points for that. And it means that every game can turn out a little different. You can go through different paths, which is kind of factored by a lot of different things. What workers come out, what you can buy, what other people are doing. And I really like the looping system where it starts out very quick because there's nothing on the board and more options become available to you. He did the same Maracaibo and I really like that. And it's just something that it's a brilliant, brilliant Euro game.
Yeah.
It has a lot of different options. I love basically every aspect about it. I would always play it. And I think you've said it best where you said previously that it's a game that you've never really won, maybe more than once or twice. But every time you play, you're like, even though I know I'm not going to win, I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
And very few games, I would say, give me that feeling as well of the whole time I'm playing it, I'm just having a great time, even if I don't win. Yeah. Because the system is so great.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so my number 5 is Great Western Trail. Whatever one's your favourite, pick that one. I don't want to commit to one either.
No, you have to commit to one. You can't steal my thunder.
Why do I have to commit to one? You didn't commit to one. I would probably lean towards Argentina actually, but I find that it's almost harsh to say because I just love the original.
Yeah,
there's
I find
just
it really
not that
hard.
much between it. Like they're just a little bit different from each other, but using the same core system.
Yeah.
So it's hard to pick actually. But you kind of already said it, why this is my number 5. Always have an amazing time playing it. Think the system of looping around the board is incredible because you get that feeling of just wanting to go around one more time, go around again, see if I can improve, and I don't know, that kind of thing drives me. I always want to optimize what I did the last round, and it is just so fun. We do have to kind of house rule. You said you found the theme funny. House rules maybe not the right word, but house, set the scene.
House theme.
That the cows are off on holiday, because I do think I don't find the theme like that funny, and it's
well, I think when I said funny, I more meant our house theme. Yes,
but anyway, just really excellent game. Never once had a bad time playing it, even if I've come I think sometime you and Martin have been on 130 and I've been on literally less than half at 60 points. I'm still just love this game.
More than once.
It's just so fun. We like to get the kind of playlist on as well, Western playlist just for the immersion. We used to have a bit of bourbon sometimes with it as well, didn't we?
Yeah.
We should do that again. But yeah, we kind of have a bit of a core group who we play this with as well, and
it's an experience, I think, as part of it as well.
Exactly.
Because it's like a longer game and you're doing the same loop over and over and it's getting more in depth. It always feels like more of an experience game to me than one you just whip on the table.
And it is always fun to say, okay, this time I'm going to focus on the deck building and hand management and the cows. This time I'm going to go for buildings, and just trying different things out. And the amount of times we've played it, I still feel like I'm trying things in a way. Just a little bit of combo of this, combo of that, and yeah, really good. So what's your number 5?
My number 5 is, I'm actually surprised that I don't know, maybe I'm surprised to see it on your list, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm surprised you had it higher than me. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. Go on. I actually don't know what one.
So, my number 5 is Root.
Ah.
And this is, I think, behind Codenames and an unnamed game, this is our most played game.
Yeah.
Between us, despite it being Root, it's not, you could say, that easy to get to the table. It's something we both really enjoy. And yeah, this was something that I'm glad it lived up to the hype, because when I got into board games, I really wanted to play it, and it was sold out for, I would say, about a year everywhere before it came back into print. So it was a very, very long time. I had to wait to get my hands on it. And I've really enjoyed playing it. And I think for me, actually, one of the reasons it's not higher is just because I find it a little difficult to come back to, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So Root is basically a war game with the cover of cute woodland creatures, and you play very, very asymmetric factions that work completely differently, and you're all trying to get first to 30 victory points, but they all score differently. And it's kind of a great interactive system where a lot of the checks and balances are really on the players to work together to stop someone that's getting too far ahead, which might not be for everyone, but I think it's very unique in the way these factions work, and the whole vibe and the theme, it all comes together particularly well.
Yeah.
But what I have found is, even though some of these factions are played 5-6 times, when you come back to them after a gap, it is like, oh, I got to read the lore of Root. This does this here. Sometimes it's not like other games where you pick up a faction and you're like, right, this is what we're doing. It's like, beyond some of the more basic ones, I do have to study, and I think that's the only thing that's knocked it down a little bit.
Yeah.
And also, even if you have people that have played Root but they have a new faction, you've got to take time to explain it to them and like point out the pitfalls. So there's just that extra work, which is, I think, completely brilliant. One of my favorite games of all time. But I think that's what stops it moving beyond 5.
Makes sense. All right. Move on to number 4.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'll say something at the end.
Yeah.
My number 4 is Viticulture. And again, I think this is where you are more analytical in your choices, and I just rank on gut feeling. I think, like, in my ranking, on my scoring, heartwarming, nostalgic feelings are probably heavier weighted at like 40% of my scoring than maybe that's like 5% for you.
Yeah.
And that's how we end up with the different scorings. That is very nostalgic to me. Again, one of the first games, I think it was one of the first board games I played where I realized the expanse of themes that are available in board gaming. Obviously, it's a worker placement game about making wine in Tuscany, essentially. And I think I just didn't realize that board games could have cool themes like that. I had this assumption they were, not an assumption, but perception that they were all about like war, or I guess trains.
Trains.
I don't know, or space, or those kind of themes, which I like those kind of themes, but it was one of the first ones I thought, this is really cool. I really want to show other people, and just opened my mind up a little bit more to the expanse of possibilities in board games, I think. And obviously when the first couple of years that we got it, it was during when we were having like lockdowns and stuff. We had friends over for Viticulture Fridays. We were always allowed to have people to our houses in Denmark during like the lockdowns, and I actually had a really nice time being like, okay, Viticulture Friday, get the wine in, get some tapas, and it gave me a nice feeling and nice memories surrounding that game.
I think Viticulture is a really great game. I just think it's maybe, I don't want to say not exciting enough for me to be in the top 10.
Yeah, I get that.
But like I said, it was one of my honourable mentions.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think, I'll play it anytime. It's great.
Yeah.
So my number 4, we already had Root, which is very cutthroat.
Yeah.
Now we're potentially even going more cutthroat with Barrage.
Yes.
Barrage is, I just got to think the rest of my list now. One of the best Euros I've ever played. Mm-hmm. Certainly the meanest Euro I've ever played. And I've loved it from game one.
Yeah.
It's so tight, so mean, so cutthroat, so brutal. And it's just one of the best examples of worker placement. I love the way that... So in Barrage, what you're trying to do is you're building hydroelectric dams to generate power, I think in the Alps. And the way it works is that you have the board as a map of kind of water running down a mountain, basically. And it starts up in the mountains, goes like all the way down to the plains. And you build dams to kind of stop that water, and then, condensers and things like that, powerhouses to generate the electricity. But water runs down like it does naturally. And if you build a dam in the plains, you'll get that water. But then if someone builds it up ahead of you in the mountains, it goes to them first, and then they can end up diverting it out. And so you get this real meanness and cutthroat and back and forth, and you're working really hard for everything. And it won't be for everyone, but I love the theme. I love the aesthetic Art Deco design.
Yeah.
The components are brilliant. And this is probably the game more than anything we have like everything for. Yeah. Everything that's been brought out, we have it. And I just love playing it. And I love the meanness.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with all your statements about Barrage.
Brilliant. If you like worker placement, Barrage.
Yeah. All right, so we're getting into top 3 now. And
exciting.
That is very exciting. My number 3 is Kanban EV.
Yeah, I mean...
Expected?
I knew this would be very, very high on your list.
Yes. So this is a Vital Lacerda, very heavy Euro about a car, electric vehicle manufacturing facility, which sounds super boring. Maybe that's in a way why I love it so much, because again, the theme is so out there in a way, but it's just so fun. And I just didn't think that I would ever love a board game about a car manufacturing facility so much. But I think it's my favourite Vital Lacerda because in a way, I don't even want to say the most simple, because they're all very complex, heavy games, but I think we always describe it as the logic of how you do things and in what order is more straightforward. Yeah. But I just love the components, the way it looks. I love the Sandra mechanic. So that's essentially where your boss, Sandra, comes to each of the different departments. It's a worker placement. And you'll have like research and design, testing the vehicles in the warehouse where you'll do different actions. And you basically need to collect car parts collect designs first, and then get the parts to make the designs, test the vehicles and do it in a certain way. And just basically do as much of it as you can. But your mean boss, Sandra, she'll come to each department. And if you haven't been trained well enough in that department, or you're not doing as much as she thinks you should be doing in that department, she'll give you negative points. And I don't know, we kind of like a little bit of meanness in a game, right? But that one's quite interesting because it's not meanness caused by the other player directly. It can be a little bit, because if they're more trained than you.
You can use her offensively. You can go somewhere just to get points to make the other person lose points. You
could do that, but the game's so tight that it's like I don't think you would deliberately cut your nose off to spite your face, because you have only got a limited amount of turns, so you kind of need to be optimizing. But I just think that's really fun, and just like the way it looks, and I just love it.
Yeah. Kanban, I think Kanban would be very high for me. I think I just prefer On Mars, which is what stops it. Yeah. And since On Mars didn't make it, but Kanban is a really great game. I think you just have a shine for it more than me, but I don't disagree with anything. It's just
I can't exactly pinpoint why. It's not, like, in a way I love it so much. Just I get joy from looking at it aesthetically on the table, and again, I think it's one of those games I just have fun playing, no matter what happens with the scoring, in a way. And it is one that I can win against you. I'm not saying I win all the time, but that gets a big tick. There's a lot of games I just cannot win against Farrell, so...
Tapestry.
Oh my God, if I could just win a game of Tapestry.
I think it's like something like 25-0 or something like that.
It's so upsetting. But I enjoy playing Tapestry, actually, to be fair. But I do wish I could win that one. Yeah.
I feel like my number 3 will surprise you.
Okay.
I think
I'm intrigued.
More than anything else. My number 3 is Pax Pamir 2nd edition.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And again, so we've already established that I'm very analytical and logical now with my lists, and you're gut.
Yeah.
Maybe we could change our name to be like Thinkathema, Analytical Gut.
What a lovely name.
Analytical Nostalgia.
Yeah.
And so this is, I've always said, and there's another game coming up that I've said the same thing about, but these games are, to me, in terms of design, almost like perfect. I think I love the way they're put together, and it's almost more of the nature of the game than the game itself. I just think that Pax Pamir 2nd edition, the sandbox it creates and the push and the pull and the options. So you're basically playing as Afghanis, I think, or basically locals in Afghanistan during the time where the Russians and the British and even the kind of Afghani government was all kind of trying to gain power. And so there's a lot of push-pull and manipulation. And you play, I believe the locals manipulating those great powers for your own gain.
Yeah.
And you can align yourself with them so that you're doing well and scoring. And it's about this, but it's got this great thing where if you align with the British, you can ditch them and then go with something else. And the kind of sands are ever shifting. And there's a lot of different mechanics in play where you have tableau builder as well, but you can assassinate other people's tableaus, but you're battling out over this main. And it's just such a kind of dance of back and forth and push and pull. And the experience, I think, is kind of unrivaled for what it does. I just think that from a design standpoint, it is impeccable.
Yeah, genius. Yeah, that was one I took genuinely 5 or 6 games to really get into. I just couldn't get why, or because it is just some cards and some blocks on a map, and I couldn't get past that in the beginning. I was like, I don't really understand what more there is to it. And then just something in the 6th game triggered for me, oh yeah, you can manipulate. And a lot of it is more what's going on around the table, right? Yeah. And I didn't fully grasp that in the beginning. And then as soon as it clicked, I was like, yeah, this is really genius. And then I was getting much more into, I'm going to go and assassinate that person. And what mechanisms do I have available to me to do what is more than there on the table, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Lift it up. And agree. It's really genius.
It's just for me. It's not one of my most played, and it's one I'd always like to play more. But I just think in terms of best games, I just think what has been done in that box is incredible.
Yeah. Okay, should we move on to number 2? So can I have a joint number 2? Can I throw another one in?
No.
Because, please,
Why?
please, I really
Did you
need
forget
to.
one?
Yeah.
Do you forget Root?
I mean, yeah, but you can keep that in your top 10. I'll keep that out.
Yeah. Okay. Go on. Well,
I really
explain.
need to have.
Explain, and then I'll be the judge.
So my original number 2 is Brass Birmingham.
Yeah.
And I need to put Barrage in there as well.
You forgot Barrage.
It's not that I forgot it. It's just when I was looking through the list of like the 200, 300 games we've played, I just didn't see it on there. And I'm like, of course Barrage needs to be on there.
All right. Well,
allow it.
No, what I'll allow is you can pick one as 2.5 and one as 2.
Okay. Now I'm like on the spot. I'll go Barrage 2.5, Brass Birmingham 2. I don't really know why. I guess we have played Brass Birmingham more. Like, I think that's easier to get to the table and easier to it's a long game, but there have been times where we've got it out after playing something else. Like, quick game of Brass Birmingham. It never is quick. But you would never say that about Barrage. So I think maybe that I'll just put it as a bit higher because of that. Barrage, just incredible. Again, one I'm really bad at kind of Euro games, but I always have fun. That one's a little bit more tense when I say I always have fun playing it, even if I don't win. But still, turn to turn, thinking about what you're going to do is just so satisfying. And then Brass Birmingham, I think we can agree that's almost kind of near perfect designed game as well. We just love playing Brass Birmingham. I also really do like Brass Lancashire. I'm weirdly good at that one. But
she wins that every time.
Yeah.
I don't know how or why.
Brass Birmingham is on here more than Brass Lancashire because I think it's not even that it's easier, but there's more options available to you. And sometimes Lancashire can be a little bit restricting because it is just like cotton mills, ships, whereas you've got manufacturing, pottery, like more options in Brass Birmingham. So I think it pips it for us. Yeah.
So I changed my mind. You can only have them both in if you not articulate out.
I'll accept that because then I felt bad that was there and I kind of forgot Barrage and Root. Root can replace Articulate, but Articulate's my number 11.
So hold on. Your new list now has 2 that were in there and 1's gone out.
Look, it's feeling for me and I changed my feelings, all right? This is kind of why I didn't want to do this top 10 because I find it really difficult and I reserve the right to change my mind literally tomorrow. Shambles.
Okay, my number 2 is a perfect crossover because it's Brass Birmingham.
Nice.
And basically what you said, it's to me, again, like with Paxmere, an example of perfect game design. I just think nothing is wasted in that design. It's clean, it's beautiful. I love playing it. I love the systems. And I think it's incredible that a game about making cotton in like the 1800s is my number 2 game of all time.
Yes.
I think this, because it comes from purely the pleasure of playing the game, the design.
Yeah.
I think it's a very lovely interactive style Euro game. I think it's one that us and our friends really have a soft spot for.
Yeah.
So again, it's a bit the same people we would play Great Western Trail with. We get this out with them and we always have a terrific time because we all know how to play and the rules are ingrained. And I think the production from Roxley doesn't hurt. We have the iron clays to use as money, so that improves the game even more. And I also prefer Brass Birmingham, and I think it's one of these things where we played it first, and I like the extra options available. It seems less restrictive to me. Mm-hmm. Some people prefer Brass Lancashire. We talk about it in our versus video between the two. But Brass Birmingham, perfect game and utterly brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, so number 1.
I mean, it's going to be the
Should
same.
we say it together?
Well, everyone knows. If you've watched the channel at all, you know what it's going to be.
It has to be, doesn't it? Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Scythe.
It's Scythe. So everyone, yeah, like you said, who's watched some of our list videos before, you will have probably heard us talk about Scythe. It is just our favourite of all time. Although maybe you're veering onto my side a little bit with this one about nostalgia, because it is the game. I think it's nostalgia. Yeah, it's the game that really got us into this board gaming hobby, apart from Articulate when I was 10, but we'll ignore that. Deep into the modern board gaming hobby, right?
Well, like what you said about viticulture and it expanding your mind on board games, which we did play after Scythe. For me, Scythe we'd played a few things in terms of modern, like we'd gone from, kind of card games like Exploding Kittens and Uno and stuff to more modern board games. Obviously, Your Ticket to Ride. Yeah. We also had Eldritch Horror, weirdly, because I really liked the theme of that. And we'd been playing that, but it was really... We were staying in Denmark for Christmas, and our friend was also staying that year. And he was like our closest friend, and we've been playing with him. So we knew he'd be over every day at Christmas, basically. And so I looked for a board game for us to get together like for Christmas that we'd enjoy. And I just happened on Scythe. I thought it sounded cool. I was just like, let's give it a go. And we had the best time playing it. It blew, I don't want to speak for everyone, but I think it blew all of our minds in terms of how fun a modern board game could be and what you could get out of it. And the three of us were playing it 3-4 times a night, every night. All we're doing is eating Christmas food, like drinking Christmas drinks and playing Scythe. Yeah. And it was one of the best Christmases of my life, one of the best times. Good. And then as soon as the Christmas period was over, we bought all the expansions. And then within a month, we'd done the Rise of Fenris campaign. And then I think like a month later, we did it again with 5 people. Mm-hmm. And it was, so there's a lot of nostalgia. I mean, I think the game holds up very well, because there was a time where we didn't play it for about a year when we started the channel, just because we're always playing new stuff. And when we got it back out, it's honestly like...
It was a relief to me after playing so many more other games. It's like, oh, maybe it wasn't that good. And it was just because it was one of the first ones that we were coming to in that style. I think for me, it was, we'd played things like Risk before, which is obviously, area control. But for me, it was about it's obviously resource optimization puzzle. And that was the first time I'd come across something like that. And I think that's for me why I was like, oh, this is really amazing. I've got my point was now. God, it's too much thinking about Scythe and how much I want to play it.
That it held up, I suppose.
That was it.
But I had the same.
It held up, and I was like, oh, thank goodness! Like it is as good mechanically or game-wise, at least for us, than we remembered.
I remember that time we got out after that year, and I just remember being so relieved when we were playing it, and we were just like, it feels so good to be back playing it, and that's always how it feels when we get it out. It's just such a joy to play. Even just base game as well. I think we almost prefer it, unless you're playing the Fenris campaign, we prefer it just base game. Yeah. None of the expansions. It's just so good. I just love that. One of my favorite things is when you're playing with experienced players, the turns take 20 seconds. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the first, there's no time to get a drink or go to the toilet when we play with our Scythe friends, because it's just like boom, boom,
and we're like speed Scythe.
And then someone does an account and we're like, come on, read faster. But so I think you're right that this is part nostalgia, but also part that it hit that time and it's never going to not hit.
I'm not saying I rank all my games on 100% nostalgia. There's definitely a weighting system there, but for me, I think it's just a bit more. But for this one, it is nostalgia. We still think the game holds up, and we just always have a great time playing it, no matter what. So
that was our top 10 games of all time, which Tally has 12.
As of this moment.
Tally somehow added 12 games to that list.
Yeah, it's my prerogative. Do what I like.
Yeah. So yeah, that was our top 10. Please let us know in the comments whose list was better.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Let us know what you think of Articulate. And if you enjoyed this video or this list, please consider subscribing. And remember, we have now launched a podcast. So feel free to check that out. We might also discuss this list on that podcast in a bit more detail. So thank you so much for watching. And we really hope that you enjoyed our list.
Yeah, and we have reviews for a lot of the games that we talked about. So we'll put some links if you're interested in a bit more of a deep dive in any of the games that we listed.
Yeah,
put a link in the
almost all of these we have some reviews on.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah. Thanks very much for watching. Bye.